Welcome folks to a brand new rebuild on FM26 as we're going to set our eyes over to Anfield, where Liverpool seem to be having a little bit of trouble this season. Last season they won the Premiership at a canter by 10 points, losing only just 4 games throughout. However, this season they are lying in 8th position behind Manchester United, even having lost 5 games, one more than they lost all of last season, and only winning 6 games and on a little bit of bad form. So we're going to take them over for the next 5 seasons and maintain that Premiership hold, and along the way win them UCL title or 2, and our aim will be to be as dominant as we can domestically as well. So first off, we'll have a look at the season preview. They are predicted to finish top of the table. That's where they are not currently. 9-5 favourites to win the league. And as you can see, 72 honours currently, including 6 Champions League, the last one being 2019. They have now won 20 Premiership titles or top flight titles. Winners of the FA Cup 8 times as well, and a few other trophies as well if you want to have a look in the club section. And the Charity Shield as well, the last one coming in 2022. Quite an array of trophies there. They have currently got 219 million in the bank. Wow, that is huge, with a transfer kitty of only 41 million. They have got a fair few players, 30 and above, 5 in total, with Salah being one of them. If I just expand it a little bit, Van Dijk, we've got Endo, Alisson and Robertson as well. And if we have a look at the other end of the spectrum, we've got Rio Nomoa, a left winger. He looks surprisingly very, very good as well. High potential, reasonably quick as well. At 16 years old, we could end up giving him a chance very early on in this rebuild. He's the only one that's showing any bit of promise amongst the youngsters. We have got Kirkes as well, who's reasonably quite good. Connor Bradley also on the right hand side. So we have got a decent array of players here. But if we have a look at high potentials, it is Rio that does fit the bill, with Alisson, our goalkeeper, who is almost a 5-star, but he is 32 years old and will need replacing at some point. So over the next 5 years then, the board want us to reach the latter stages of the Champions League, challenge for the Premiership title, both required, as looks like pretty urgent as well. Challenge for the FA Cup, not as preferred. Be competitive in the Carabao, they're not really looking at that one at all. It's favoured, but yeah, they're not really interested. The Community Shield, same sort of thing, and work towards being self-sustainable as well. Do they want us to, they still want us to maintain a challenge throughout all of these, and yeah, that's something that should be doable over the next 5 seasons. Staffing wise, doesn't look too bad actually. They have a reasonable array of staff, bit light on the coaches, so it seems, and the analysis, and we have got a few recruitment analysis as well, but we have got a full complement of scouts. In fact, we've got 9 over the allocated amount, which seems an awful lot, and medical staff isn't too bad either. So what we're going to do next, we're going to delve into a formation, try and come up with one that best suits the squad, and try and get some of these youngsters playing as well, especially Rio, who looks pretty good at 16 years old. Whether or not we'll be able to play him remains to be seen, but I'm hoping we can do. He's only on £310 a week. That's criminal. But at 16, you don't want him to be on 300k a week either. So we'll see what happens. But he is worth up to 25 million. So we want to try and utilise him as much as possible as well. And who knows, we may lock him in for the first season, see how well he does. Or we may send him out on loan, we shall see. But we'll sort out our formation, like I say. And we'll come back once we're all ready to go. We only make one signing in the window, and it's Alessandro Bastoni. I think he's going to be the perfect player to replace Van Dijk. He is 6'3" as well, already a superb, I think he's an elite player already. 37 caps for his country, and 26 years old as well. 66 million from Inter. However, that was all of our money and all of our persuasion to bring him in. And unfortunately, nobody else left the club because we couldn't offload them. So the side will now look a little bit like this. We are going to be locking in Bastoni and Rio. He's going to be playing on that left-hand side. That's his preferred position and role as well. So I really want him to see him grow. And if we have a look at our best 11, it will look like so. Bastoni doesn't even appear, which is a real shame. Robertson comes in instead of Kirkes. Alisson in goal, obviously. We've got the Gakpo instead of Rio. And other than that, the side is a pretty solid side, but a lot of 30-year-olds as well, so we're trying to offload them slowly but surely, but we couldn't offload them this time, so if we're not going to offload them, we may as well use them because they seem to be the better players that we have got available. Apart from the Charity Shield, where we beat Crystal Palace 2-1 thanks to goals from Gakpo and Wirtz, it hasn't gone our way at all in the league. We drew with Bournemouth at home 0-0. At least we didn't concede a goal. Newcastle away, a 0-0. We didn't concede a goal, but they did have a player sent off, but it was right in the last minute. So 2 games, no goals, but we didn't concede any either. And then we played Arsenal and absolutely battered them at home 3-0. So that didn't make sense whatsoever. Robertson, Rio and Gakpo all scoring. So pretty pleased with that, but no goal from Isak yet. We are now lying in 6th position, 4 points off the leaders Man City already and Chelsea, who are both 3 for 3. If we have a look at the preview now, we have dropped to second favourites behind Man City for the race for the title. But if we go back to the fixtures, we have got in the Champions League, we've got Inter, Juventus, Dynamo Kiev, Spurs. I thought they fixed that, obviously not. Dortmund, we've got Leverkusen, Monaco, Bodo Glimt. I think that is about it. So yeah, quite a few teams that we should be able to get past, I feel, and qualify for the next round. But it looks like we're all in alphabetical order, so at the moment we're not seeded 22, that's for sure. So let's jump into our first season and let's see what we can come up with. Can we retain our Premiership title as well as maybe getting a Champions League along the way? We remained unbeaten until our first real test coming in October. We lost to Chelsea 3-2 disappointingly. Despite getting an equaliser in the 69th minute for Isak, we did concede a goal in the 97th minute. Then a couple of weeks later we lost away at Brentford, going 3-0 down just before half time and never really recovered from that one. We had a pretty good 1-0 away victory at Spurs, picking ourselves up from the previous month's defeats, but at the end of the month we somehow lost away at West Ham. Not doing that brilliant. A 97th minute winner there. That in turn sparked something within the Liverpool side, and from December we went unbeaten throughout the whole rest of the season, just losing the one game. However, we did beat Leeds 2-0, Brighton 3-0, Wolves 4-1 in the month of December. We did, however, lose to Arsenal, our only defeat here on in. We smashed Newcastle 4-1. We drew with Man City. We got our revenge back on West Ham. And then towards the end of the season, we smashed Chelsea 4-1 with Gakpo getting the 4th goal in a 4-1 victory. That did give us, however, a 3rd place finish on 75 points, 1 point behind Spurs of all teams, with Man City running away with it, 8 points ahead of us in the end. We did, however, get to the final of the FA Cup with Isak setting us on our way in a 4-1 victory. Isak scored a brace in an emphatic victory over Arsenal, who did get a consolation goal in the 96th minute, with Rio netting an 8.7 rating and probably man of the match award as well in that game, the youngster. The Champions League, however, we had a pretty good run in, finishing top of the group with 19 points. The only team unbeaten was Arsenal, in fact, so the English team's doing pretty well in this. Man City finishing 6th position, Newcastle in 9th. The only game we lost was 1-0 to Inter in the group stage. However, we did beat Juventus, Dynamo Kiev, Spurs away from home, Dortmund at home. We did draw with Leverkusen for beating Monaco and Bodo Glimt. We went straight into the round of 16, however we did lose to Inter Milan after the 2 legs. A 2-0 first leg deficit was just, we just couldn't overturn it, drawing 2-2 at home and therefore bowing out. With the final being won by Real Madrid, who beat Arsenal 1-0. Arsenal getting again to another final. The only other competition was the Carabao Cup, where we got knocked out in the 4th round by Spurs. But our squad, however, Isak, 26-year-old striker, 27 goals and 5, so we did come good in the end, which is pretty good. Wirtz 16 and 11, and Rio, our 17-year-old now, who looks pretty good as well. Some of his stats all going up, so he'll definitely get remain in that position. 13 and 9. Hopefully we'll see a lot better next season. Gakpo did weigh in with 10 starts, 36 off the bench, 12 and 5, so he almost did as good. But Rio has got a long way to go. We have got a lot of players now looking pretty good. Salah, however, 6 and 10. We're going to probably look to cash in on him at some point. 400 grand a week week. I'm sure we could come up with somebody on that right-hand side to replace a younger version, hopefully. Robertson, however, he's not signing a new contract, so we may end up losing him after his stint this season. 4 and 5 from left back. Van Dijk, 42 games. Bastoni, he played 55, so he did play a lot of the games this season, 1-on-1. Hopefully we'll see a lot more, but really we just want him solid at the back. Goalkeepers wise, Georgie Marmadashvili, he only played 4 games, conceded 6. However, Alisson, which understandably would be between the sticks and number 1, maybe we try to look to offload him to give some of our other goalkeepers a chance. Maybe he only conceded 45 of 23 clean sheets. We have got him for another season. If somebody comes in for him, maybe we'll let him go, but at the moment I think if we can hang on to him for another season, possibly, unless there is a better goalkeeper out there, we may yet hang on to him. But I am looking to give Georgie a go between the sticks sooner rather than later. So going into next season, we've got 295 million in the bank, and we have been given a huge 131 million pounds to spend, with 175 grand a week available in the wages, which will probably pump that up as well. So we'll probably have about 120 million maybe. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a big amount, hopefully, to replace players like Van Dijk and Alisson maybe, and even Salah. They're the 3 players that we're going to find very hard to replace, but I'm sure we'll give it a damn good go. Right, that ended up being an interesting window as we lose Van Dijk. He's gone to Real Madrid for only a measly 6.25 million. He was nearly 35, so we've let him go. We've cashed in on him. We could have had him for another season, but we've got some young players in now that we do want to utilise. Gomez as well, he's also gone, so we lose another centre-back. He's gone to Inter for 32.5 million, giving us a 28 million pound profit there. And a young Harvey Davis has gone to Cardiff, and we lose a couple of others, and then one going out on loan. So that did enable us to increase our budget. We've spent 173 million pounds on 2 players. Dean Huijsen, centre-back, looks pretty decent. He's had 2 yellow cards already. 95 million pounds. I think there's more to that as well. I'm sure it goes up to 110. It doesn't seem to show us though, to be fair. But 6'5", looks absolutely superb to play on the right-hand side, where we've got Bastoni on the left. And then we bring in also Alphonso Davies on that left hand side, because we lost Robertson as well. He didn't sign a new contract, so his contract ran down and he's now left as well. So from Bayern Munich for 78 million pounds, Davies comes to the club. So we're going to be locking in a few players this season. Rio on that left hand side is playing superbly. We've got Davies on the left, Bastoni, Huijsen and Marmadashvili in goal. He's going to be our replacement for Alisson. Alisson did sign a new contract, but it was only for another year, so I think we reduced his wages down a little bit, so he will be a stand-in for this season as we get young Marmadashvili getting used to the Premiership before Alisson goes, unless he does sign an extension. I don't know, we shall see. But if we pick our best 11, Kanate comes in to the right hand side, which is probably right. Alisson comes in and Gakpo comes in on that left hand side. Apart from that, it's a very solid side. I'm very tempted to leave this one as it is, actually, to be fair, instead of bringing in the youngsters. And Mo Salah is still here. He's still got another year or 2 left on his contract, so we'll see what happens there. But already a goal and 3 assists already to his name this season. We've had a mixed bag already to the start of the season. We did lose the Charity Shield to Man City 3-1. Then we started our campaign against Brighton in the league, beating them 3-1. We smashed Leeds 4-1, beat Fulham 3-0. Had a very unfortunate loss to Everton away from home, however, all before half time. And then in the Carabao Cup, we smashed Crewe, which was a nice result there. The Champions League, we're going to be playing Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Lyon, Rijeka, Rangers, Wolfsburg and AZ. We are currently lying in 3rd position. It's a better start than we had last season. We're only 3 points off the leaders Spurs, who are 4 for 4, and we're a point behind Arsenal currently. And we are predicted 3rd place once again behind Arsenal and Manchester City. And Mbappe is at Manchester City. Oh my goodness. They've got Haaland and Mbappe. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be pretty hard this season. Goodness me. Wirtz is in the Dream 11 alongside Frimpong and Alisson as well. So let's go ahead and jump into our second season, and let's see if we can bring home at least one of 2 Premiership titles that I would like to win in this rebuild. We've got 4 seasons remaining. Let's see if we can get our first one, despite Man City having these 2 cracking strikers. After losing to Everton at the end of August 2-0, we went and lost our following league game to Spurs 2-1, and that's on the back of a 7-0 thrashing of Crewe as well. We did, however, go on to beat West Ham 5-0 after that, 2-0 at home to Newcastle, and in a cracking away victory at the Etihad against Manchester City 1-0 thanks to a Chiesa goal in the 76th minute. December, however, saw us unbeaten bar 1 game as we thrashed Crystal Palace 7-1. West Brom were no luckier as they were thrashed 6-0. However, we did lose to Manchester United 4-1 away from home before beating Arsenal 2-0. However, January saw us have a complete turnaround, losing just 1 game from January onwards, with wins at home to Leeds 2-0. Sheffield United got in on the act as well, and they lost 3-0. However, towards the end of the season, we did have a very good victory over Chelsea, beating them 2-0 to help our cause at the top of the table. Kirkes down the left-hand side crosses it in for Gapco to get the second. And that gave us an impeccable Premiership victory, our first one of the rebuild, 4 points ahead of our nearest rivals Arsenal, who did beat us, however, but we did beat them as well. But 94 goals scored, 30 against, which is fantastic. 64 goal difference, which is amazing. A few more like this, and I'll be a very, very happy chappy. Man City, with the likes of Haaland and Mbappe, finished 5th. 16 points behind us. The Champions League group stage, however, we did lose to Real Madrid 2-1. Atletico, however, we thrashed them 3-0, but lost to Arsenal 2-0, which was a disappointment, especially as we were at home. Lyon was soundly beaten 3-1, same with Rijeka as well, 3-0. We did get past Rangers 1-0, with Wolfsburg and AZ being battered, which gave us a 4th place finish and qualification into the round of 16. Just the 2 losses and 6 wins, 20 goals scored though, which is pretty amazing as well, as Arsenal and Inter top the group, both unbeaten. So into the round of 16 we head off, and we play Bayern Munich, and thanks to a 4-0 second leg victory, we thrashed them 5-1 over the 2 legs. Heading into the quarterfinals, and the same thing happened at Inter. We drew 1-1 away from home, and then we brought them back to Anfield and absolutely hammered them 5-0, winning 6-1 on aggregate, with Juventus beating Real Madrid 7-4 thanks to a 6-2 victory. Goodness me, Man City go through 6-1 overall against PSG, and Aston Villa 6-0 over Marseille. The semi-finals, we played Juventus and we beat them 5-2. Again, a second leg victory at home. It did the damage as we play Manchester City in the final with the likes of Haaland and Mbappe as they beat Aston Villa 5-2 over the 2 legs. As we were leading 1-0 thanks to a Gravenberch goal, it comes to the 80th plus minute, and we race down through that right hand side through Frimpong, who does amazingly well, passes it into Gravenberch, and he just goes for goal from there and slots it into the corners to give us a 2-0 and Champions League victory. And as you can see, we are the winners of the Champions League. There's no trophy, unfortunately, just a little cup token, I guess, which is really poor. But to go alongside the Premier League and the Champions League, we do come away with the Carabao Cup, winning that one as we played Newcastle in the final and absolutely hammered them 6-0. The FA Cup, however, wasn't as impressive as Manchester City take that from Brentford as we bow out in the 5th round, losing to Manchester City and eventual winners 2-0. So overall, this season has been quite impressive. A hat-trick of trophies this season. Could have been more, but I'll settle for the Champions League and Premier League, and that's what we're here to do. So our players this season then, Isaac top scores with 22 goals, followed by Florian Wirtz with 20 and 22, which is a fantastic season, far cry from last season, that's for sure. Ekitike weighs in with 18 and 9, our strikers are doing an absolutely amazing job up front. Salah weighs in with 17 and 12, he's now 34 years old, he's currently injured, he is worth about 7 million now. I just don't think there's any point selling him really, to be fair. However, he will need replacing. His contract does run out at the end of this season. We're going to try and bag him for another season at least. Will it give us an extension maybe? No. Okay, we'll try and bag him for another season. If not, we are going to have to find a replacement at some point. Rio, however, he looks pretty good. 16 and 10. That's much better than last season, and his stats look pretty good as well. Gravenberch weighs him with 12 and 14. 10 and 9 there for Szoboszlai. Alphonso Davies, 16 assists with 7 goals. That's quite impressive. Huijsen weighs in with 6 goals, and Bastoni just doing his job at the back, as you just probably want him to. Just the 1 goal, but a pretty solid 7.05 for the whole season. Mamadashvili, 47 conceded in 60, which is massive, and 29 clean sheets. And I think I read somewhere he did break the clean sheet record for the club as well. So we'll have a look at that towards the end of the season as well. Giovanni Leone, he played a few games off the bench, weighs in with a 6.73, so that's not too bad. Nice to see our youngsters getting some game time as well. Alisson, he did play 3 games, 2 clean sheets, and just conceded a goal. He's worth about 9 million now as well, and his contract runs out at the end of this season as well. He is 34. He's worth about 9 million now, 300k a week, which is an awful lot. I don't know whether we bring him in for another season, see if we can grab hold of him. Maybe that's what we need to do as well. Same with Salah. There's a couple of players we just don't want to let go. So going into next season then, we are going to have to look at replacements eventually for Salah, and maybe a backup goalkeeper possibly for Georgie as well. So we've currently got 44 million in the red, I think, but we have been given another massive 149 million pounds to spend this window, so we could easily go in for another player to replace Salah, maybe another goalkeeper. I just don't know where we're going to spend this money. We may not even spend all of it, but I feel like we do need to replace a couple of players. But they've just gone and won a treble. How do you replace a team that's just won a treble? We'll have a look, and hopefully we'll make the right decisions. So we'll just take a look at the outs first, shall we? As we lose Canate to Barcelona for £59 million, a 24.5 million profit. Chiesa's gone to Real Madrid as well. A lot of to and fro with this one. 29 million. He's gone for 19.25 profit as well. Yaros, the goalkeeper, he's gone for 13 million to Freiburg. We also lose Harvey Owen to Fulham for 2.1. And then on a free, we lose Alisson and Endo as well. The contracts run out. They didn't want to renew, so off they popped. And we did release quite a lot of wages. In fact, we had 103 million pounds come in, and then we spend 260 million. And the first one was Giorgi Scalvini, 81 million pounds from Atalanta. He looks superb. A great replacement for Canate. He'd probably battle it out with Huijsen for that spot alongside Bastoni. We also bring in a goalkeeper as well, 43 million from Freiburg, Noah Atabolo. He's only going to be a backup, but what a backup he is. Also bring in Baliba, the midfield, 96 million pounds from Brighton. Again, another backup, potential replacement from McAllister when the time comes, but hopefully he'll get some game time as well. And also we bring in a right winger, backup once again for Salah. He's going to probably be a backup for the next person as well, actually. So Alessio Kakimani. Again, he looks pretty good, although he is left-footed. Bags of potential, and he is classed as a wonder kid last time I saw. But he is on £135,000 a week, so quite a lot. But very, very good stats at 20 years old. They are pretty unbelievable. So hopefully he'll get some game time. Salah's signed on for another season, but I think it could be his last one. Let's have a look and see what the squad looks like now. We are locking in 2 players. Rio and Connor Bradley are going to be locked in, as if we pick our best 11, 2 youngsters come out. Isaac comes on the left hand side with Ekitike up front, and Frimpong comes in on the right hand side, which probably would make sense and make this side look absolutely amazing. And Scalvini wrestles Huijsen for that spot in the defence. We started off against Manchester City in the Charity Shield, and we win that 1-0 thanks to a first half goal through Isaac right on half time. We then went on to play Palace and we beat them 3-0, and then we got ourselves another trophy, and it was the UEFA Super Cup with a 3-1 victory over Lazio. Isaac again scoring the goals. Bournemouth back in the league, we beat 2-1. Then we had a fantastic victory over Everton, despite Everton making a late comeback in that one. Leeds we pummeled 4-1 as well. Salah with a brace. And then the Carabao Cup, we played Stoke and we beat them 4-1. The Champions League, we've got Eindhoven, Inter Milan, Frankfurt, Shakhtar, Rangers, Atletico Madrid, Midtjylland and Bayern Munich. And the league at the minute, we are 4 for 4, just behind Man City on goal difference. So it's going to be a race between us two again, I feel, with Arsenal right in the mix as well. And we are predicted to win the league this time. Looks like our side looks a lot better. Mbappe and Haaland still on top. We've got Salah and Wirtz in the Dream 11 with Frimpong on the right hand side as well. So maybe we should not lock Connor Bradley in. We'll see. See what happens. So let's jump into our third season and let's see if we can replicate last season with a Champions League and League double and maybe add in the FA Cup this time for good measure. It was another cracking season this season with more notable victories over Manchester United 1-0. Home victories including a 5-1 battering of Arsenal. However, we did lose one game and that was to Spurs away from home in the middle of December. Leeds were put to the sword 5-0 away from home and United didn't fare well in the return game, losing 5-1 at Anfield. February we saw 2 draws with Arsenal and Manchester City before we saw out the league campaign with a 3-1 victory at home to Southampton. And that gave us almost an immaculate Premiership title. Just that one loss to Spurs in the end. We scored 92 goals, conceding only 27, which is absolutely fantastic. A massive goal difference, almost double Spurs' and Arsenal, definitely more than Man City as well. But Man City again, even though they have Mbappe and Haaland, they are no match for us at the moment. So that's our second title win on the bounce. The Champions League, however, saw us draw 1-1 with Eindhoven. We did beat Inter 1-0, drew with Frankfurt, battered Shakhtar and Rangers. We did lose to Atletico Madrid. We beat Midtjylland. Unfortunately, we lost to Bayern Munich convincingly as well. And that poor performance in the league phase landed us in an 11th position, of which we have to play a knockout round. And we were quite some way off 8th position where Real Madrid only just scraped through. And nobody this time round was unbeaten in the league phase. So we had to play the knockout round where we played Porto and we smashed them at 4-1 thanks to a second leg victory. Round of 16 we got to play Premiership rivals Manchester United and we absolutely annihilated them as well, winning 6-3 overall, including the 2-1 win at Old Trafford. And that is where unfortunately we ended our run in the Champions League. Real Madrid went on to win the tie 5-3 and somehow we drew 1-1 at home where we were. Anfield was becoming a fortress in Europe. Juventus battered Milan 7-1 overall. Goodness me. Man City go through after beating Arsenal. Barcelona go through after beating PSG as well. The final was won by Real Madrid. So again, we lose to the finalists and eventual winners, this time Real Madrid after they beat Man City 2-1. So disappointment in the Champions League. The FA Cup was no exception either. Manchester United lifting the trophy after extra time against Brighton as we bow out in the 4th round to Lincoln City at home. Team from League One. Not quite sure what happened there. Carabao Cup, however, we did go on to win that one. We beat Newcastle 1-0 in the final. And as you can see, we won a load of other trophies as well. The FA Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup. And also we won this Intercontinental Challenge as well, beating CF Pachuca 3-0. So overall, again, not bad. The FA Cup still eludes us. The Champions League, not this time around, but the Premiership, we did win that at a canter. Our squad, however, looks absolutely amazing. Isaac with 24 goals. Wirtz, wow, what a player, 23 and 21, and he's just recently signed a new contract on 450k a week. We had the money, let's bag these players in, they're good, and he's only 25 years old as well. Ekitike weighs in with 18 and 10, 15 and 4 for Salah. He has dropped off, but we are getting a new contract on him as well for an extension, just for another year, as we try and find a replacement for him. Szoboszlai weighs in with 15 and 12, which is fantastic. He's only 27 himself. Rio, 9 and 15. I'm not sure if it's as good as last season, but he does weigh in with a lot more assists, I feel. Belieber, he did play some games, 7 and 4, which is phenomenal as well. Frimpong, 14 assists in 32 games. But we did lock in Connor Bradley, so he played 25. So Frimpong must have took over at some point, but he weighs in with 7. So yeah, not bad from him either, but I think we're going to leave it for the future and see who wins out. More than likely, it's going to be Frimpong in this situation. position. And a goalkeeper, 50 goals conceded in 63. I think it's a lot more than last season. 28 clean sheets, however, this time around. And Atabulu, unfortunately, did not get a game this season. That's unfortunate. So there probably is still a few more areas that we may need to improve. Gakpo not getting any game time now. He's now 29. We may end up cashing in on him. He is £77 million worth now. Salah, his value has dropped down an awful lot, and he wants to commit to the rest of his career at Liverpool, so we're going to let him do that. And why wouldn't you, really, to be fair? He's just been absolutely phenomenal, pulling in the figures, and just a few of his stats are starting to decline. And LIVERPOOL, they did play a couple of games off the bench. 1 goal, 1 assist, which isn't too bad either. I think he's got the potential to take over from Salah. Maybe we might play him in the friendlies and see what he does. Or we just find another replacement, maybe. We are going to have to prepare for when that day comes. And budgets for this season, wow. Another massive £148 million to spend. And we have got about £750,000 available in wages as well a week, so that's quite good. So we should be able to pick in just a couple of more players. I feel we don't need that many, but once again we have the problem of where do you improve. We've only made the one signing this season, and it is going to be a replacement for Mo Salah, and we bring in Nico Williams from Atletico Club for a staggering 160 million. I think that's the total we'll be playing. I think we paid up front 130 million, something like that. He's already comes ready, 26 years old. He's just going to slot straight into that right wing position and will be the perfect fit and replacement for Salah. On the outs, however, we don't really manage to sell anybody. Gakpo's gone to Marseille. The only way we could offload him. I think there's an obligation to buy as well at the end of the season, so he'll be going next season. Dawson goes, one of the youngsters, 3.3, and Dan's as well. He's gone to Brentford for 22.5 million. I wasn't really sure how good he was, and I'm shocked I missed it, really, to be fair. Them stats look absolutely incredible. So still locking in a couple of players. Bradley, I think he was injured. I think he's back now, thankfully. And Rio, he's still on that left-hand side. If we do pick our best 11, however, Salah remains on the right-hand side. Williams goes to the left-hand side. I mean, having both of them two on either side, I mean, wow. It seems pretty daft, really, locking a couple of players in, and Frimpong on that right-hand side comes in instead of Bradley. We started the season off with a win in the Charity Shield of thrashing Manchester United 4-2, with 2 goals coming in the last couple of minutes to win us the tie after Højlund equalised in the 88th minute for United. The league campaign started off with a win against Newcastle, then Forest and Villa, and more recently Everton, a 5-1 thrashing there. Sunderland we beat in the Carabao Cup 3-1, so we progressed to the next round. The Champions League, we get to play Bayern Munich, Atalanta, Wolfsburg, Galatasaray, Monaco, Rayo Vallecano, Eindhoven and PSG. And currently we are top of the table, 4 for 4, 12 goals for, 1 against, amazingly, with Spurs right behind us. Same sort of stats, except they've scored 11 goals and conceded 2. Leicester, Southampton are also unbeaten, same as Manchester United, with a win and 2 draws, having played a game less. The season preview, unsurprisingly, we are favourites to lift that title. Mbappe and Højlund still in the Dream 11. We have Wirtz in there still, with Kerkez on the left-hand side now. And that is about it. Surprisingly, I am shocked at that. So let's jump into season 4. Let's see if we can retain the Premiership title once again, and this time do a lot better in the Champions League. We've had some memorable games this season, including the 7-2 battering of Leicester, with Isak netting a brace together with Wirtz. Brentford didn't fare any better. They got hammered 5-0. Chelsea don't like coming to Anfield either. They got hammered 4-0 as well. Goals flying everywhere. And our home record is just like second to none. A 3-1 victory over Man City helped us tremendously, including a 3-0 win over Arsenal at the end of December. And we ended the season on a high with a 5-1 victory over Burnley. And as you probably gathered, we've won ourselves a 3rd title on the bounce. We did lose 5 games this time, however, but 113 goals this season, which is fantastic. 38 conceded, 21 points ahead of second place Spurs as well. And with that, the Champions League, the group stage, we absolutely smashed Bayern Munich away from home. We then beat Atalanta. Wolfsburg was a very close game. Galatasaray, surprising lost that one 3-1 away from home, and afterwards we went on to beat Monaco at home. Vallecano came to Anfield and got battered. PSV was a very good victory away from home, and PSG didn't like coming here either. And we finished the group stage on a high with 7 wins and that 1 loss. We did concede 10 goals, but did score 26, I think, which is the most in the league phase. But it is Man City, Juventus and Barcelona who all finish unbeaten. But we've got to be proud of the lads once again in their league phase games. So on to the round of 16 where we played Atletico and we beat them 5-3 thanks to a 4-0 second leg victory. Quarterfinals we played Wolfsburg and we beat them 6-3 after a very good 3-1 first leg victory. Man City smashed Juventus 8-2 over the 2 leg as well, as they go through to the semi-finals together with Inter and Bayern Munich. The semi-finals we just scraped through Man City, winning the second leg 3-2 after being 2-0 down in the tie. And we play Bayern Munich in the final after they disposed of Inter 5-3 over the 2 legs. And it was a Gravenberch goal that sealed the tie and the final, giving us a 1-0 victory in the end to give us our second UCL title in the 4 seasons, with McAllister getting involved as well. The rest of the competitions then, after winning the League and Champions League, the FA Cup, I think we won this one as well. It doesn't say, but we beat Manchester United in the final. That's the treble, the famous treble, the one that you can win the FA Cup, the UCL and the Premier League as well. The Carabao Cup, we got knocked out by Spurs in the semi-final. If we have just a quick look, Spurs go on to win it against Manchester United, and we lost on penalties after having a 3-1 first leg lead. And we also got the Community Shield as well. So 4 trophies this season. And apparently we're in the Club World Cup as well. I think that's being played in this month. So we'll probably have a look at that come the start of next season. And if we have a look at our squad, so Rio, he's done really well, hasn't he? He's really improved, but I don't think we're going to lock him in for the final season because we're just overloaded with quite a lot of players getting some, trying to fight for a place. But Connor Bradley, he just hasn't improved at all. And I think we may cash in on him and bring in somebody else on that right-hand side. It's unfortunate, but to me, it's just not good enough. He just hasn't grown at all, unfortunately. So if we go by goals first, 33 then for Ekitike. Isaac comes in with 30. Wirtz weighs in with 20 and 12. Fantastic. Salah 17 and 8 still getting on that right hand side. So here's Nico Williams 15 and 11, 37 starts for him as well. And there's Rio with 15 and 25, which is really, really good. I think we are going to lock him in maybe for him, but not Connor Bradley probably. 20 assists there for Szoboszlai as well. Nice to see him getting some game time. And the good thing is, all of our players, apart from a couple now, Salah's now 36. Got him for another season. I think we bagged him for another season, which is fantastic. So it's always good to have him. He's going to finish his career here. Gakpo, we're trying to offload him. I think there may be an option to buy on there on his loan deal. We've got McAllister and Bastoni now hitting 30. But to be perfectly honest, who can you bring in to replace them guys? Scalvini, 25 years old, looks pretty good as well. Kirkez, he's only 25. Alphonso Davies, he's not getting the game time, is he, really? Which is quite surprising. But Kirkis is obviously keeping him out. Mamardashvili, 66 conceded this time around. Only 22 clean sheets. Maybe he's dropping off a little bit. I don't know. And Tabulu still hasn't played a game. That's really unfortunate. I really do feel for him. Maybe we cash in on our goalkeeper and bring in somebody else, maybe. We'll see what happens. But he was wanted last season. Doesn't look like he is this season. And if we go into our finances to find out what we have got for this season, that's not the finances. That's the finances. We've got 153 in the bank and another whopping 131 million transfer kitty. So that could probably give us a right back, maybe. We'll see about the goalkeeping situation, or maybe another centre back. But we've got one hell of a solid side now. Looking forward to this window. It's a nice problem to have. Right, the transfer window. We kind of struggled this time around as to what players to bring in, but we managed to find a couple of youngsters. First off, we'll start off with the outs, and Connor Bradley has left for a total of £58 million, or pure profit. He's gone to Bayern Munich. He failed to break into the first team, really, and was kicking up a stink, which is understandably because he is young, and he is still pretty good, actually, to be fair. Not a bad little player, but just like I say, he just failed to break into the team ahead of Frimpong. Also lose Leone as well, defender. He's gone for profit as well. He's gone 30.5 million to Frankfurt. Again, failed to break into the team. It was great to have as a backup. Played a couple of games. Didn't really feature that much, really, to be honest. And Alphonso Davies, he's gone out on loan to Madrid with an option to buy, I think. He was moaning an awful lot. And again, he just couldn't break into the first team, despite, I thought, being better on that left-hand side. But here he goes. But we did bring in a replacement for him. We also lose Alessio Cacciani. He's gone to Union Berlin on loan. He, again, another left winger this time. He failed to break into the team also. So, yeah, other than that, £89 million brought in, added to the kitty, of which we spent £339 million. And we've still got about £50 million, which we didn't really need to bring anybody else in. So, first off, from Manchester City for £140 million, we bring in Javaro Reed, and I think he's getting some game time as well. He looks fantastic. 23 years old, Manchester City right back. We've stolen one of their players, and I think he'll do pretty good. And I think Frimpong now is kicking up a stink because he's not getting the game time, so it's a good competition to have. He's played 5 games already with an assist. We bring in Xavi from Barcelona for 119 million, I think, as a backup to Wirtz, as we have got Szoboszlai and Gravenberch for the same position, and McAllister and Baliba for that position. So we've got about a player in each position now as a backup. But Xavi, he's only 25 years old. Another superb young player. Not as good as Wirtz, I don't think, but he possibly can be given the game time. And then others yet, you can see they haven't managed to break into the team yet. We also bring in a left back because we've lost Davies. We bring in Lewis Hall from Newcastle. Only 80 million. We didn't go mad on him. I'm not sure if he's playing just yet, but again, an English player. We were short of homegrown players, and what a better left back to bring in is Lewis Hall. 24 years old. Definitely can make a future here, and definitely being looked at over the shoulder from Kirkes. So if we have a look at our squad, if we can get to it, we're locking in Rio again on that left hand side. He's currently injured, unfortunately. He's out for another 4 weeks. Wow. But if we do pick our best 11, so we are playing a 4-3-3. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, but that seems to have worked wonders for us. And the right hand side seems to be the weakest point at the moment. And out of position, if you want to have a look, it works again like this. I mean, this is fantastic. I do like the formation, and Wirtz goes up to help Ekitike. I would have preferred Isak up there, but both of them scoring goals, so it works quite well. So as promised, we played in the Club World Cup, where we played Corinthians. We beat them 1-0. Pyramids, we beat them 4-1. And the last game in the group stage, we played Porto, and we beat them 4-0. Then we went on to play Roma. I'm not sure if this is the next round. It must be the next round, but we've thrashed them 3-0. Inter, we beat 4-2. Real Madrid in the semi-finals, 1-0. And then Porto, we smashed again, this time in the final, beating them 6-0. They did have a player sent off though, which kind of helped matters. The Community Shield, we win that on penalties against Spurs. Played Everton, winners of the Europa League. We beat them 1-0. Only just 77th minute penalty from Salah. Who else? Probably in his last year now with us. But who knows? He is now 37 years old, bless him. The league, we started off against Spurs. This time we beat them 3-0. Sunderland, we beat 3-1 away from home with Isak scoring a hat-trick. And we've just come off the back of a 1-0 home victory over Southampton with a lot of injuries to the side at the moment. The Champions League, we will be playing Inter, Spurs, Rosenborg, Leverkusen, Barcelona, Benfica, Sevilla and Frankfurt. And currently we are lying top of the table, just them 3 wins from 3 games, with Man City right behind us. We're just ahead on goal difference. And the season preview this time round has us at 11-4 favourites to win the league, which is fantastic. Mbappe and Haaland. Why is Mbappe? I thought he wasn't. I didn't think he was playing for Man City. When did he join Man City? I'm sure it said Real Madrid last time I looked. I don't get it. There must be another Mbappe somewhere else in this universe that's exactly like him. But yeah, Mbappe once more. But we have a lot more players in the Dream 11 this time. Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Williams and Huijsen. Would have been nice to get Donnarumma as well. But yeah, well, I'm quite happy with the players that we have got, actually, to be perfectly honest. And hopefully we'll go and do the wonders once again. So let's jump into our final season. We've completed the challenge, really. We've won 2 Premier League titles and 2 Champions League. So this last season is a free hit. So let's see how many trophies we can add to the 2 we've already won, or 3 actually. We've already won this season, and let's see if we can make a clean sweep of it. After an insanely great start to the season, we followed that up with an unbeaten September with wins over Brighton and Forest convincingly. Lost our first game towards the end of October to Chelsea. And in the December, we lost to Man City, who are proving to be one of our closest rivals for the title this season. We still continue to bang the goals away. Southampton were no exception, a 5-0 away victory there. We had to wait until we play Man City again towards the end of April, this time smashing them 3-0 with 3 goals from Baliba, Rio and Kerkez. It got a little bit tight towards the end of the season as we were trailing Man City, but with wins over Arsenal, draw against Chelsea and Newcastle, which nearly threw it away for us, we beat Bournemouth the last game of the season. And that win propelled us above Man City, who absolutely bottle jobbed it at the last few games. 3 losses in the last 5 games, and they lost by the odd point. We did remarkably well to retain our title, and I believe that is our 4th title of this rebuild to lift the Premiership title. That is fantastic. I'm really chuffed with that. And we only conceded 26 goals as well, scoring 93, which again is a lot of goals in a 38-game season. The Champions League, however, we played Inter, we beat them 2-1. We did draw with Spurs, beat Rosenborg, thrashed Leverkusen. We drew with Barcelona. We did lose to Benfica, but beat Sevilla and drew with Frankfurt in the league stage, where we finished a lowly 10th position and outside of an automatic place in the round of 16, so we have to go through the playoffs. But 4 wins, 3 draws and a loss. Very disappointing campaign this time around. Marseille, the surprise winners of the group, actually going unbeaten, winning 6 of their 8 games. So into the knockout round, where we played Marseille and we only just scraped through 1-0 at home in the second leg. The round of 16 we played Marseille, another French club, and they were unbeaten in the group stage, but we absolutely dominated in this tie, winning 6-3 overall, even though Marseille did win their home tie 2-1. Quarterfinals, we played Manchester City and annihilated them. 4-3 in the first leg and 4-1 at Anfield, of which PSG did go into the semi-finals, also beating Arsenal, Spurs beating Lyon and Real Madrid beating Barcelona. We played PSG this time around and we beat them 3-1, with Real Madrid also going to the final, and our next opponents after beating Spurs 2-0 over the 2 legs. But unfortunately for us, after taking the lead, we did succumb to Real Madrid's power and losing 3-1 in the end. In the other competitions, however, the FA Cup, I think we got to the quarterfinals, I believe. Man United won the overall competition, beating Chelsea. I think we got the quarterfinals. Yeah, we lost to Fulham at 2-1 after a very good route to the final. Fulham was just, I think it was just the amount of games we were playing in the end. And in the Carabao Cup, we bowed out at the 4th round to Everton. Again, Manchester United winning this competition as well. But a 2-2 draw with Everton and losing on penalties. Not a great sight for the Liverpoolians, but again, we had our sights further on bigger trophies. So overall, we've got to be proud of ourselves this season, bringing home 4 trophies, runners up in the Champions League, and unfortunately the domestic cups not so great, but still a lot of trophies to bring in all the same. We did play this Intercontinental Challenge. We played Al Ahly and we beat them 3-0. Not really sure what that was, but it's a trophy all the same. But I think we played an awful lot of games this season, and we'll soon see when we have a look at the player stats. So overall then, 29 goals then for Isak. Ekitike right behind him with 22. 19 and 13 for Szoboszlai, who's absolutely turned into a crazy player. 52 games, 8 off the bench. 51 games there for Wirtz. He scores 17 with 18 assists. 17-11 for Salah. Still pulling them crazy figures at the grand old age of 37 now. Nicky Williams, 16 and 13. Rio, 14 and 12. He seems to have dropped off a little bit as well. I'm not really sure what's happened there. And I have figured out how to look at the his progress. So if you go to his player tab, and if you I think you should just click on something and attribute, this is it. I mean, it doesn't look great. If you go all time, I mean, it's not brilliant, is it? I mean, it doesn't really tell you what's gone up, what's gone down. I'm sure he would have had a lot of stats going up, but again, those that have gone up, you can't tell whether they have gone up by a lot, because on the old one they used to tell you what amount they went up by, 3, 4 or even 5. I think looking at this progress thing, I just think it's shocking. It's just digressed. It's gone backwards. So yeah, that's no good to us anymore. But we have a lot of players getting some game time. And I think everybody played some games as well, which is fantastic. Even at Tabulu, I think Mamardashvili, he was injured at some point. At Tabulu, 5 games, 5 conceded and 2 clean sheets, which ain't bad. And Georgi Mamardashvili, 31 clean sheets. I'm sure that's a record this time around. I think he got 29 the last time, breaking the record. Or that might have been Allison, actually. I can't remember. But only 51 conceded, which is fantastic as well. Everybody getting some sort of involvement, even Bastoni getting a assist, with Lewis Hall getting 3 assists. That's not too bad. It's 17 games, 21 off the bench, which is brilliant as well. Not really anybody letting us down. And 2 players out on loan. Davies got 7 assists in his 45 games, and Alessio as well. He did get some game time and he's proven to be quite good, actually. 6 goals and 2 assists, so maybe he might be worth hanging on to. Who knows? But that decision will be down to you, because this file save will be available to you on Ko-fi.com. I'll leave the link down in the description, and with that you will be given some money as well. So we'll have a look at that, what you're going to be getting. There we go, into the budgets. You will have £162 million to spend, with nearly £1 million a week in wages as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you do wish to take the save on, please do so, and you'll have the formation and everything else on file. So that'll be it for you to try and conquer Europe once again. Records, if I can remember where they are in the club history, facilities, it must be in the club history. I think it might be here somewhere. I just don't know. Club history records, there it is. Okay, yeah, again, I just don't like all this at all. So anything new that we have broken this time around? I'm surprised we're not number of league wins or anything daft like that. We have got the most league goals scored in the season, which is 113. Attendances, did we win anything this time around? 1.8 million against Inter in the Champions League in 2027, and also we did have the lowest attendance, and that was against Brighton. Results wise, did we break anything there? Yes, the 7-2 victory over Leicester was a high scoring match and highest scoring league match. Sequences, 17 matches won in a row. Wow, that is amazing. Games without losing, 36. Fantastic. Most matches without scoring, 2. And we got most matches without conceding, 6. Player wise, Ian Rush still holds the record for the most goals in a season. Highest average rating was Frimpong, 7.46. Most goals by player in the match, Ekitike 4 in the 5-0 win over Chelsea. Most assists by player in the season, Rio with 25, and Mamardashvili, he did get 31 with the record clean sheets as well, which is fantastic. So Bosley, most player of the match awards as well, with 9. Youngest goal scorer was Rio, 16 years, just under 17. And transfers, 175 million for Nico Williams, of course. And that is about it. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Smash that like button as well if you enjoyed the video. And again, we'll see you on the next rebuild. Thank you very much. Bye bye.